This show is a part of Pop Americana. For more great shows like this one, please check the link in the episode description. Cartoons, the animated frontier. These are the voyages of the Cellcast podcast. Its continuing mission to explore strange new cartoons, to seek out new animation styles and new creative storytelling methods, to boldly go where so few ever go again.
Am I wrong? Okay. This progress is a part of Christian Geek Central Network. Wrong.
Hey, Scoop, what are you doing, man?
I don't know. I'm supposed to be reading an ad.
All right, hold on. Give me it.
Okay.
All right. This podcast is part of the Christian Geek Central Network at ChristianGeekCentral.com.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Cellcast,
The animated series.
Joining me today is a man who just can't stand these black rocks anymore, Jacob.
Why, thank you, and like to introduce our co-host, a man who just can't help himself to experiment with those darn blasted black rocks. Welcome, Drew.
How are you doing, Jacob?
I am doing swell.
Alrighty. So we are still working our way through Tangled the series, and we are on Season 1, Episode 16, Queen for a Day, Part 1, which first aired on November 19th, 2017. It was directed by Joe Owen, and it was written by Jace Rickey. Summary is as follows. Rapunzel takes over the kingdom while her parents are away just as a blizzard strikes. Unfortunately, every royal decision she makes to help the people of Corona backfires badly. Also, King Fredrick and Queen Arianna become lost in the storm. Meanwhile, Varian discovers the mystical rock spikes are multiplying dangerously all over the kingdom. As his father refuses to tell him anything, he decides to head to the castle to ask for Rapunzel's aid, as he knows that she has some mysterious connection to the rock spike. This episode was originally going to be titled Queen Rapunzel. It is the first half of the second special since Before Ever After.
Mm-hmm.
In this episode, we get to hear Cassandra sing for the first time.
Yeah.
And the normal ending song to the episode
it's different.
Is different.
Yeah, it's not the upbeat ending title they use,
right.
But it kind of gives you that. It's okay.
It's more dramatic.
It's more dramatic, and I love that. I was sitting there, like, oh, okay, I gotta watch the second one because obviously I'm doing it for a review.
Yeah.
But, oh my gosh, I love this.
And this is done so stinking well.
Yes.
I mean, my first thought when the snow started falling while their parents were gone is, oh, we're turning into Frozen now. Their parents are going on a trip. They're obviously going to get in trouble because that's how this story goes, and it's snowing.
Yeah.
This must be taking place at the same time, but wait, that can't be true because technically Rapunzel would be there and with brown hair if this was happening at the same time as the movie.
Right.
But, oh well.
Yeah.
But this is actually the setups in this episode.
Yes.
And finally getting the idea that Varian's father knows a lot more than he's saying.
Yeah, he's talking about.
Yeah. And I kind of get the feeling, although I don't know this for sure,
Right.
while Varian didn't understand why they were just asking to move to another area,
Yeah.
I have a feeling that was a code that his father was telling King Fredrick. I don't know this for sure, as I've never seen the rest of it. I don't know what the deal with the Black Rock things is.
Yeah.
But I kind of got the feeling Varian's father, I can't think of his name, he knows a lot more about what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
And King Fredrick probably knows a lot more about what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're both being quiet, because they don't want to worry their respective children. And I just have a feeling that was a code word, and Varian mistook it.
It's
For those of you, I know I'm the only person who can see Jacob's mannerisms, but as I was saying that, he clamped his mouth down hard, like he was trying to not say something, because he knows more than I know.
Yes, I do.
Let's just keep it at that.
Yeah. We'll get there when we get there.
As we always say.
Mm-hmm.
On a different show.
Yes. I love this episode, and it's but the setup of we get is this the episode where we get Xavier, right?
Well, I mean, we've had Xavier for a couple episodes now, and I think he tells the story.
Yeah.
At the beginning during part of this.
Yeah.
It's just that that part of the synopsis is in the next one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I think he at least tells the story of the Blizzard.
Yeah, the Blizzard and Centauri. And just that whole little backstory, that's very fascinating. And you get Variant's father not telling him what's going on, and then future episodes be like, all of this is explained in very broad, very deep detail later on. And that's why I'm biting my lip trying not to say anything. Because it's so awesome.
We'll get there when we get there.
Exactly. Can we get there tomorrow? Okay.
No. You know how busy we are today.
Yes, exactly. But either way, I enjoy the character of Xavier. The character of Xavier is just the old man who's a blacksmith.
Yeah.
Who just tells all these fantastical stories that no one believes except Rapunzel, of course.
Especially since we know that character was cut from the original movie, and they've since worked him back into the show, which I appreciate because you can tell he knows a lot more about what's going on.
Oh yeah,
than I think even he realizes.
Yeah,
which does make you wonder why he was so hesitant in the next one about something else, which we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah,
but yeah, this is just a fun episode, and we're finally getting into the meat of the story.
Yes.
And leading to possibly the reveal of a major villain.
Yeah.
For the for the story. So I am looking forward to learning more.
Maximus comes back without them.
By
himself with no carriage. And then we're left with dun dun dun.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen next? Part 2.
We'll have to find out later.
Yeah.
Which I think that actually is going to bring us to the end of this.
I think so.
This half of that episode.
Yes.
So join us next time for part 2 of Queen for a Day.
Dun dun dun.
Come, Jacob. We must prepare for next week.
Prepare for what, Drew?
The same thing we do every week, Jacob. Record a podcast.
Oh boy.
Come, Jacob. We must prepare for next week.
Prepare for what, Drew?
The same thing we do every week, Jacob. Record a podcast.
Oh boy.
Come, Jacob. We must prepare for next week.
Prepare for what, Drew?
The same thing we do every week, Jacob. Record a podcast.
Oh boy.
So where can they find you, Jacob?
You can find me on Facebook at Jacob B. Heron, also on Facebook at Jacob's Daily Art Corner, where I try to draw each and every day. I don't get to it as often as I like, but join me there. Also, you can find me on Instagram at Jacob B. Heron, on Twitter at Jacob Heron, and Letterboxd at Jacob Heron. So where can they find you, Drew?
You can also follow me on Letterboxd at GGeorge759, Facebook as Drew Dodgen, my Facebook page where you can see pictures I've taken at Drew's Photo Bin. You can also follow me on Twitter at GGeorge759.
You can email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com.
You can also follow us on Twitter at cast_cell.
You can follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/thecellcastgaming.
You can also follow us on YouTube at Cellcast.
Listen to our podcast on Apple Podcasts,
Google Play Podcasts,
Stitcher,
Spotify,
and your favorite podcast directory.
You can also listen to us on the Movie of the Week podcast with Jim Heron, where we talk about live-action movies. And remember, Cell is a single L.